Hey everybody, welcome back to the 15th episode of Off the Top Podcast. And we've actually got some pretty big news to share with you guys this week, is that if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you already
We're
know,
official.
we made a breakthrough.
We made it. We made it.
But we're actually super excited though, guys, to get on Apple Podcasts finally. And we're still going to be uploading it to YouTube and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure, guys, to subscribe and listen to us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, it's a lot easier if you want to close the app and listen.
Yeah.
I know that's how we lost some viewership.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
But come back. We welcome you back with open arms.
Please come back.
Check us out. We'll be uploading all of our episodes there as well. So check that out. Same with...
Sorry, just one thing I want to mention is that, guys,
Real quick.
we're actually missing episodes 4 through 12, I think.
Yeah.
Just a small gap. There's definitely a large gap right there.
4 through 13, actually.
Yeah, so even worse than I said.
Yeah.
But
It's a small gap.
everything is on YouTube. In case you guys do want to watch that, we'll work on getting those on Apple Podcasts.
Right.
But it's just a small time.
All our
thing.
new ones, though, we will definitely be posting on there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget to check out Quick 5 Fridays, our new series that's going to be airing every Friday, obviously. And it's just going to be little 5-minute segments talking about success tips and different, big things that are going on. And, it's just kind of a condensed version. So check that out.
And now that we're on Apple Podcasts, we're actually going to be working on getting video for the YouTube because it would pretty much be the same thing for both. And uploading to two places. So we want to give you something on YouTube to look at if you want, if you're
eye candy.
up for that. Shut up.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. No. If you like watching people while they talk, I don't know if that's
If you guys
into
want to
that,
see us
if you're
talk
into
to
that.
you,
No, if you
we'll
want
make eye contact with the camera the whole time, so
it's
you
a
feel
lot.
like we're talking.
Honestly, I like it a little bit better. Like watching a video of it too, because like I get a little distracted when I just have it in my ears. So, So we're gonna work on getting. It won't be for this episode, but we're gonna be working on it for next episode. So good news. Good news.
Big things coming, guys.
Right. So there's that. So what's been going on in our lives?
What's good?
Brandon, want to start us off?
Oh.
Or
Yes. No. I started coaching. Like it's more of like it's like a class. I'm co-running a class.
All right.
With this guy, Coach Pierre. He's awesome, Pierre Jacobs. He's a really good guy. If you have a brother or sister, 1st through 6th grade, send them to the Flat Rock Rec for basketball lessons.
In Downriver, Michigan. If you're in international or
Flat
other
Rock,
state,
Michigan.
For our overseas
I
viewers.
apologize.
For our overseas viewers.
We'll be expanding our classes.
Oh yeah, we'll be expanding overseas. No, it's been really, really cool to like teach other people like about like subtle things that I know about basketball, like little things that people don't get.
The fundamentals, especially, are really important to learn when you're younger.
Yeah.
And
that's where a lot of players
building
are
on that with those like small things. That's really, really cool. Really.
Yeah, Pierre does a good job of it by himself, but like I'm really enjoying like just because I went to Point Guard College, PGC. I learned a lot about fundamentals from them.
Okay.
So it's really cool to teach like younger kids about it and like it's also cool to adapt like the stuff that I learned from there. Like that's geared towards like older kids. So like it's cool to like figure that out and adapt it to like younger kids.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I think
super dope.
I just kind of want to say like a parallel to like basketball and life.
Yeah.
Kind of like because like honestly, with anything that requires like a lot of practice like that,
Yeah.
there's a lot of parallels that can be drawn just to your normal life.
Yep.
And I think
exactly
like one of those that we were just talking about is like fundamentals, kind of like a lot of people try and go right for the end goal of just like a project or something, and
career project. Anything.
Yeah, and before like fully educating themselves or getting as much experience and all this stuff, which could be considered like fundamentals just in life.
Yeah, and
100%.
Yeah, and like with life and learning a new skill too, especially like you can't just jump to like great stuff, like let's say you're learning like an instrument or something, you can't just jump to like really hard pieces,
Yeah,
you gotta learn
the basics.
right, exactly, and so
slow ones,
right, and you're just gonna frustrate yourself if you jump to the hard stuff, because obviously you're not gonna be able to do it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just start slow, and eventually you'll work your way up to being, good.
That's the best way to do anything. Like, just from my experience with basketball and school also.
Right.
Just going slow and getting each little thing down, it really, like, it puts you above, in other people's eyes, it will put you above those other people that don't practice those tiny little things.
Mm. And I've been reading a book called The Practicing Mind. It's by Thomas M. Sterner. Cool. And it talks about, like, getting, like, honestly, there's a lot of people who talk about this because it's so important. Like, Joshua Metcalf wrote a book called Chop Wood, Carry Water. And that book as well talks about, like, loving the grind, or kind of, and getting into, like, loving the practicing, you know. And it's a really big, like, important skill of your life, is that learning to accept that you're gonna have to work hard for things, and, like, learning to love the process.
Yeah,
trust the process. I think is
trust the process.
It's
Joel
actually
Embiid, NBA,
Joel
Philadelphia.
Embiid?
Yeah, that's his, like, saying, because he got hurt and he had to, like, he had to come back slowly, work on each little thing.
He's trash though.
Yep. Yeah, about that. He's a very good player.
Okay. Next topic. But yeah, I started writing a screenplay for film.
Yes.
Don't
Sounds
think
awesome.
I doubt it's ever gonna be a film, but
could be.
But yeah, you can't count it out.
Yeah, right. I think I'm gonna start investing in, like, camera equipment and stuff, and it makes me sad because it's super expensive.
It's so expensive.
The other stuff is pretty, like, lights and audio equipment is pretty expensive, but a freaking camera is nuts. So
yeah, especially that 4K.
The
4K
stuff,
4K,
it's really expensive.
HD, 1080p. So, but yeah, that's a thing. I'll talk about it more on the podcast as it evolves. So, yeah. So,
do you want to tell us a little bit, like, about it?
Yeah. So, I don't know the details, but rough plot outline. Please, nobody steal this.
Oh yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll talk about it in a little bit, like in a few episodes, just so I can, like, get a more solid foundation first and develop it more.
Yeah.
Because I've only written literally like a page, but I just have the general outline. So I'll talk about it more as the podcast goes on.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sounds good.
Do you have any idea if it's gonna be like how long it's gonna be, or?
So when you're writing a screenplay, it's just kind of a general rule that every page is about a minute long.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I like it to be, I don't want it to be too long, but I'd like it to be, I don't know, probably like 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't want it to go over that. I'm shooting for like hour and a half, closer to an hour and a half,
Yeah.
I'd rather not have it go too long, because, that's just more and more stuff, and it's, my first film that I'd make, or I could just make it a short film. I don't know yet. It's really, it's like a little baby right now.
Yeah.
I think
it's a fetus. It's a
zygote.
But yeah, so who knows?
I think that with that, though, it's important that to not get hung up on, like, how long it's going to be. Just do what's natural and, like, what you think is going to be the best.
Right, and that's another thing when we going back to fundamentals is, like, if you're writing a screenplay or something like this, there's a lot of things that go into it and a lot of things that go into making a movie.
Sorry, guys. We just got cut off, and we can't hear. So,
let's just say technical difficulties.
Yeah, the audio on my Mac is not working right now, so I can't hear where to cut. So we're just gonna
resume. Kind of new topic.
Yeah.
So I had just wrapped up talking about my screenplay. On the topic of film, still though, I've been thinking about making a YouTube channel talking about film and stuff. I don't know. I just wanted to say that, and how it's, like Brandon coaching or whatever, co-leading that class, like transferring our knowledge to other people. And we were talking just before the podcast about how now we're still learning from other people, and you should always be learning from other people, even when you're, 70 years old.
Yep.
But now we're in a phase where we can actually start teaching people as well, and sharing our knowledge with others. And I think, obviously that's what this podcast has been as well.
Yeah, the best way to, like, the best way to remember, I'm sorry, I can't think of the words today, but the best way to remember what you're learning and like set it in your mind, is to like learn about it first and then teach it to others. Once you have down, like once you practice it enough, you should probably go ahead and teach that because it's the best way to do it.
And there's like also a phase that's talked about in the book Mastery we've talked about. It's called like the creative active phase of like learning a new skill. It's that it's pretty get that out of here, dude. It's pretty much it's like the creative active phase is like when you like it's kind of in between those two steps of like teaching and learning. It's like as you're learning, there should be a phase of whatever skill it is where you're putting it into action in your own way and like in your own life.
Yeah.
And then that is like amazing experience for then teaching to people because then you know how to learn about it.
Like we said in the last podcast about creative hobbies, like the 3 different hobbies: creative, one that's creative, one that makes you money, and one that's based on your career or just like fun for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like something that we all like to do.
Yeah, for sure. No. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't.
This one is our money-making hobby.
This is really all we care about for this one, folks.
We're just getting to the bag for this one.
No, but for real, we do appreciate you listening. Please.
On
really
a completely real note, like, thank you guys so much for for listening, and also we really wouldn't even be on Apple Podcasts if we didn't have any viewers.
Yeah,
you know? Right. It's really honestly kind of an honor. It's cool.
You know, we like doing this for you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and on the note of YouTube, me and Kevin are thinking about starting our own channel. Well, we've been talking about it for a minute, but we're gonna finally like get the camera. We're gonna get the camera for the podcast, and then we're gonna get the camera, and we're gonna try to use it for YouTube as well.
Yeah, and maybe we'll try and do like some comedy stuff.
Yeah,
What me and Brandon,
dudes.
What me and Brandon realize is that like the podcast is an amazing outlet for like success and like what stuff that we're actually like very passionate about, and it's like really interesting, even just about our lives. And then I think YouTube, we can agree, would just be an outlet just to be stupid and like be funny, and
it's one of our creative hobbies. Like that's
I can help you guys with that editing stuff.
Please help us.
And writing and directing. So
please.
Be on standby. I don't really know how to edit that much. Honestly, I haven't really gotten into that. But
I've been looking up stuff.
I've done some before. I mean, I can do obviously like simple stuff like cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I've worked with Windows Movie Maker, like 1999 before. So I mean, it's.
I mean, I've taught myself some computer code. And, I mean,
really?
Yes.
Code Academy.
Code Academy.
I'm pretty sure, didn't you do that for like 10 minutes?
I did it for like, I tried it for a day.
You told me about it one day, and you were like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, we recorded an episode, and you were like, yeah, this is awful.
It wasn't terrible. It's just not my thing.
And then the next day after that, the government shut down. So draw your own connections about that one, guys.
I know we're not going to say anything because the government's probably listening.
Yeah.
But Brandon did it.
Anyway, so after we talked about YouTube and everything, we wanted to segue to a little bit of success tips, advice, success tips and
tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
Oh my god.
No.
All right.
This is when everybody turns it off.
All right, we're done listening.
This is retention time.
Okay. So, tips and tricks, success.
Yes.
Brandon.
So, actually, we were just talking about this before the podcast. We wanted to talk to you guys about how we always push for looking for long-term fulfillment instead of short-term happiness. But we just want to emphasize that short-term happiness has to be there also.
But it's like differently though, because you can get short-term happiness from just living and doing stuff in your life, and it doesn't have to be from buying expensive things that'll make you happy. You know? I think that's kind of like where people like misunderstand it. Is that you could be like very like into very passionate about your career and doing stuff, but for that short-term happiness, instead of like making connections with people and like doing stuff, you just buy something that fills that.
Right.
And that's a lot less like
extreme
real.
Short-term.
Yeah. I think. And I think Brandon and I were talking about this before too. Is that like I feel like I haven't done that. Like I haven't kept the balance between long-term fulfillment and short-term happiness.
Yeah.
Like I was just so focused on like career and stuff and like long-term stuff that I realized like I'm not that happy right now.
Yeah,
you know?
it's easy to neglect it, especially when you're very passionate about something.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to like zoom in on your life and see, and it's, you can still focus on long-term stuff. You just, it's a balance. It's a yin yang.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that's why I decided to write the screenplay.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, a lot of stuff that I do now is like for my long-term fulfillment. Like, I've been looking up stuff for editing the podcast, looking into YouTube things, and like I've been kind of neglecting my short-term happiness. So I've been like kind of like upset, like not upset, but like down every day. Like it's hard to like keep on going for that because I don't look for that short-term happiness. So
especially with like work, school,
and
all like the responsibilities you have, it's really important to like focus on yourself every once in a while.
Yeah. So I go to like Chick-fil-A, get some food. No, I'm just kidding. No,
that's actually the best short-term happiness. Is just Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
And just get like a
meal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a frothy meal.
Okay. No.
Good word choice.
Good word choice. That's,
I don't know.
That's grody. No, I've been focusing a little bit more. Like, it's kind of weird to talk about for me, just because like I usually don't like talk about this. Like, I don't talk about this to anybody just because like it's not something that's very common to talk about. It's not a topic of conversation on a normal basis. But I've been focusing on just like I like being a person that makes people laugh. That's just like something that I like to do. I like to make other people's like jobs or work or school enjoyable. So I like to be there. And I also have I have knowledge for success tips, and like if anybody needs advice, like I like to be there for that. But like I also like to make sure that people are happy in the moment. So like that's what I like to focus on in my day now, because
that's
like
really cool.
Yeah,
especially if that gives you happiness.
Yeah,
too.
like it's my short-term happiness because like I know like, oh wow, I'm funny. Like
and it's a good
dope.
feeling.
I'm a clown.
I'm dope.
I'm so dope.
It's really like a good feeling knowing that like because you don't always know what people are going through like at home or outside of work, especially and stuff like that. That like you could have made them happier for that little bit, even if it's just a stupid joke or something.
Yeah,
cool.
I know. Just like making people enjoy their days makes me enjoy mine a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Right.
Just makes me feel
I'm
dope.
just so dope. No, it actually makes me happy to make other people happy. So like I like to do stuff with other people, but all the while I just try to be like a light in their life.
Just a beaming, glowing light.
But yeah, I mean, I think that is important, and you guys get that. I think you guys understand. Like, when you make someone laugh, it makes you happier. When you see someone happy because of something you did, whether it's an action or just something you said, like, you get some joy out of that.
Yeah,
so.
and not only that, it's like that is a skill. Just being there for people and like. Building connections, being funny, comedy and like humor especially is just something you can practice literally like anytime.
Yeah.
Like anytime you're around people, like try and work on yourself and try and like build deeper connections with people than like just surface level. Like if like for me personally, I've never been like super outgoing and like building all these connections with people.
Yep.
And I've been trying to work on like when I'm talking to people that. Like before, I would just like hey, how's it going? Like
just keep it to that kind of stuff.
It's interesting.
Small talk.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like making relationships and stuff, and like trying to like improve your own like self as you're trying to like build connections with people.
Yeah.
So and like I said, that's something you can practice anywhere.
Plus, like it's practice for me because I want to become a success coach. I want to become like a person that influences in the world, and a great way to do that is make connections now and to like keep people interested in what I'm talking about while I'm trying to give them advice for things that are probably boring to them for right now. So
but I mean that goes back to the hobby thing too. Like this is like career hobby or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think like humor in general and just like comedy all ties in like really well with like teaching people, because if you build that like rapport with them of like comedy and joking around and stuff, even if it's about like serious stuff, that like just I feel like that engages people more to want to listen to you.
Right. It really does.
Yeah, there was this podcast, TED Radio Hour, and they did an episode on like something about humor. I don't know. I listened to it like a year and a half ago, so I don't really remember the details, but I do recommend going and checking that out because that says some interesting stuff about humor. Not just jokes. It talks about a lot of like psychology stuff too. So
I gotta check that out now.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think that like one of the greatest people to like do comedy and one of the greatest people to like really master it and like be able, like I saw a video about it's Dave Chappelle. It's like how Dave Chappelle dodges lasers with this comedy, even though he brings up like really serious topics.
Yeah,
it's like he's
very controversial.
He's like genius with it though almost. It's because like do you ever notice how he talks about all this stuff and yet always gets a laugh at the end and he never gets booed off stage and he always makes sure to tie it back and instead of like relating it to like the overall problem, he like ties it to himself and makes it funnier. And it's really cool. Like I think that's
he's definitely one of my favorite comedians. He's like up there. Top
and
3.
It's just like those communication skills that he has and stuff like that really transitions like amazingly to comedy.
Yeah. And like just tying back to short-term happiness, it doesn't have to be just like focusing on other people. Like that's just something I like to do. Like for you guys, if you guys enjoyed just like watching like Netflix TV shows and you've been cutting that out because you want to focus on fulfillment, that's something I've been doing a little bit too much because like then I just don't want to do anything because I feel like I don't have time to do anything fun at all.
Yep. And it's that's like a bad mindset, in my opinion, to get trapped into. It's like the existentialism kind of view. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying
terrible.
Like it's bad to get into that idea of like, and you have talked to me about this before, where you're like, I don't want to play this because I feel like I could be doing something better. With my time. And
I don't want to play Fortnite, dude.
Please play Fortnite, Brandon. Please. But like seriously though, I like if you have that existential like view on life where it's like, if you think about it, guys, like there's always something in your mind that you could be doing that's better than what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So it's like let's say you work all day, you come home, and then you're about to like watch TV or something. You're like, oh, I could be doing something better, and like shaming yourself. It's like you could be. But you need, like, everyone needs, like, a leisure activity or something.
Yeah, you need downtime,
exactly.
For sure.
It's like, you could literally always say there's something better you could be doing. And it's just a bad view on life to always think that. It's unhealthy.
Yeah, because if you're always doing those things that are, like, productive or whatever, then you're gonna burn out.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And it's really, really good to go into the things that you're passionate about happy.
Right.
It's like it's an amazing feeling to go into something productive happy.
Right.
Because it just makes the work easier. Yeah. It's like that state of flow. It's like whenever you're doing whenever you're doing work period for like a long time, there's like two ways you can take it. You can take it as, oh crap, like I have to work, or you can actually be engaged in it and like really learning at the same time as having fun.
That's like the best way I can describe flow right now is going into something productive happy.
Yeah, and my big thing with writing the screenplay or whatever, sometimes I'm gonna have to if I'm not making enough progress or whatever, but I try waiting until I'm really inspired and really want to work on it, and that's when I work on it. Because if I force myself to work on it when I don't have a ton of inspiration, then it's just gonna be dry and it's not gonna be your top quality. And that's with anything, any hobby that you think is like productive or whatever. You can't go into it. You can't really force yourself to go into it because it's not going to be your best, So
so I think we're gonna leave you guys on that note. Just make sure that you guys are focusing on short-term happiness as well, day to day, as well as being productive.
Find that yin yang,
yin yang,
that perfect balance,
right?
Perfect balance of the scales.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to check us out on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, and also check out our new series, Quick 5 Fridays. Also follow us on Twitter at Off the Top 7 or Off the Top Podcast. And
make sure you guys turn on notifications and everything so you know when we're posting. And I think that's it. Thank you guys.
Support us on Patreon.
GoFundMe, Patreon, all
GoFundme.
Squareface is sponsoring
or just Venmo. Just under the table.
We're just gonna break it down to Venmo.
You can send us checks. We have a PO box. All right, but thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.
All right, have a good week.